Hello everyone. Welcome back to yet another time of learning, sharing and growing with EmmySpeaks. It's been an amazing journey talking about intentional living, and today we are on episode 4 out of 10 in our series. Today we are talking about decluttering your life. You want to live an intentional life, but it is so crowded. You want to make choices, but you can't even see the space. How can you get rid of all these things that you don't need so that you can actually make room to breathe, make choices, and live intentionally? That is what today's episode is all about. But first, welcome. If you're just joining, this is EmmySpeaks and I am Emmy. This is a space for inspiration, motivation, encouragement, hope, fun. Here we get to share tips that can be very useful to helping you overcome some of life's unending challenges, and also tips that can help you to become the best version of yourself. In this season, we are sharing tips on intentional living. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell so every week when I post a new content, you will be notified. Also, like this video and drop a comment to let me know you stopped by. Now let us get into it. Cluttering are the things that occupy your space. They are the things that you don't necessarily need, but somehow they are crowded up in your space, and sometimes you can't even see. Imagine a trash can, with things just dumped into it, you cannot even see. If you lose something in a trash can, forget about it, because trying to find it will mean that you open up all of the messes, and sometimes you're digging deep, you just even can't see what you lost. All you see is soiled hands, messed up hands, and all of that. So cluttering looks like that. So imagine your life being in that state. We need to get rid of the trash so you can actually see what is valuable. Now, there are two types of clutters we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about physical clutter and mental clutter. When you paint a picture of the physical clutter, you can now see what your mind looks like, because you don't have a visual picture of your mind. Sometimes your mind is so crowded and you can't even identify it because you don't see it with your physical eyes. But if you use a physical picture, then you can see what your mind really looks like. Now, physical clutter refers to items that occupy our space, items that we no longer need nor have use for. This looks like clothes you haven't worn in years. Ladies, can you relate? You're keeping those clothes, you've not worn them in so many years, but it's just there, occupying the space, and sometimes you've outgrown the clothes. The season for the clothes have passed. You put on weight or you lost weight, your body has changed, your taste has even changed, which means you no longer need that dress, but it's still just lying there in your cupboard, in your box. Why? Clutter. With physical clutter, you can physically see that it causes hindrances, like it causes chaos in the environment. Your wardrobe is just full. You cannot even see clearly to pick out the clothes you're really looking for because it's crowded. So many things are there and you cannot even see clearly. Your room is probably not always tidy, and sometimes you feel just frustrated. Have you ever woken up and then you're excited to go somewhere, and when it comes to picking out your dress, this happens to me all the time. Well, it used to happen to me all the time. You're excited to pick out an outfit, and then when you face your cupboard, it's a whole stress. You just feel overwhelmed, like, what do I wear? You're picking out this one and then your eyes are going to this other one. You can't even make a decision because there are so many things all over the place and you just can't decide. And sometimes it even hinders your ability to focus. Guys, this is me telling my real life story. I'm getting set to go somewhere. I have to pick out a dress, and I go from wanting to pick out a dress to wear to this occasion to measuring several different outfits. Why? Because my cupboard is so crowded, and I'm like, okay, let me just measure this one. Does it fit? How this one look? Okay, in my mind, I wanted to wear this dress, but I'm seeing this other one. How about I try it on? And then it's a whole 30 minutes to 1 hour of trying on clothes. And that wasn't my intention when I went to my cupboard. All I wanted to do was pick out a dress to wear for this occasion, for this event, or for this place I'm going to. But then I lose focus because it was clutter. Cluttered space can decrease your productivity. It makes it difficult for you to concentrate. You walk into a room and all you're thinking about is a mess that is around. And sometimes just the thought of, when am I going to get this room organized? When am I going to get my cupboard organized? When am I going to fold dresses? When am I going to organize things? Just decreases your productivity, because now you're trying to plan, you're trying to strategize. You cannot properly function in that space because it is so disorganized. The clutter is just too much, and The next minute is you cannot even do anything. Of course, I don't know about you all, but it causes me stress and anxiety. When my room is not tidy, I can't even sleep. Like literally, I can wake up in the middle of the night and then start arranging my room. Physical clutter can hinder social interactions. If your house is disorganized, would you want to have people in it? We just don't let people into our space because it's disorganized. That's what physical clutter does. It hinders social interactions. Now, with a picture of what physical clutter is and what it can do, let us look at mental clutter. Using the picture of the physical clutter because we cannot really see our minds, right? Mental clutter are the overwhelming thoughts and beliefs that occupy our minds. It could be negative thoughts, worries about the future, self-doubt, insecurities, so many things that are not supposed to be in your mind. But yet, you have filled up the space of your mind, and now you're trying to live intentionally. You're trying to make choices. You're trying to respond as opposed to reacting. But there is no room for that because guess what? Your mind is overwhelmed. There are so many thoughts, there are so many beliefs, and even when you're trying to practice mindfulness, those thoughts just come in and they're feeding, on everything that you're trying to put in. Now, mental clutter has its own consequences. Sometimes you find that you cannot concentrate. Sometimes you find that you cannot even brainstorm. You cannot even think past the thing that is written down. You see something and usually you are one to dream with just a word, and it all of a sudden becomes impossible. You look at a word and all you can see is that word. You cannot see past that word. You cannot think about it. You cannot breathe anything around that word. There is clutter in your mind. Your mind is full. Your mind is in disorder. Your mind is not organized, and so there is no clear path for your thoughts to take. Also, it causes stress, increased stress level. Your mind becomes so full and you become overwhelmed. Your head is just too tired. You sleep and wake up in the morning and it's like you're already tired for the rest of the day. You haven't even done any work, but you're tired for the work not done. Mental clutter clouds our judgments, making it difficult for us to make decisions. We have said throughout the series of intentional living, we have said that the power of intentional living is when you are capable of making decisions and choices. Because your mind is already too full. You find yourself being caught up in cycles of overthinking, but what are you thinking about? You're not bringing any fresh thoughts to your mind because there is already this cloud of judgment, cloud of thoughts that has occupied the space, and fresh thoughts cannot come in. Mental clutter limits your clarity. There are some things that are lying between the thin lines, and if you don't pay attention, you cannot see it. Mental clutter is the reason why people are not emotionally intelligent. It is the reason why people react to their emotions as opposed to responding. It is the reason why we don't even see. We have too many blind spots because there is a clutter in our minds. We cannot see clearly. Our minds are crowded, our minds are blinded, and as a result, our vision is blurred and impaired. Mental clutter can cause you to be so emotionally unaware, and you would defend it so much because you just can't see it. Mental clutter is so bad, it can cause a lot of damage. But hey, that's why we're here. We're gonna learn how to deal with that.